Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the College Football Weekly podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Woodward, and with me today, as always, is my co-host.
Hunter Cottle.
Yep, and today we will be talking about Week 0, who played, the scores of that game, and Week 1, all the upcoming games for that. There are currently no change in the rankings, so nothing that we can talk about differently with the rankings, but we will be posting this on YouTube. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, you can find us at College FB Weekly. And we also have an Instagram, which you can find us at College FBW. So let's hop right into this. So only two games with week 0, nothing special. Notre Dame and USC. Let's talk about that Notre Dame game first. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it was a tough, it was basically a away game for both. But when Notre Dame got there in Dublin, Ireland, it
Hmm,
was a home game. I mean, it was.
it was.
You kind of pictured it. You don't know what to expect coming in from both teams. Sam Hartman looked really good, of course.
He did.
He played right where he left off at Wake Forest, and Notre Dame can run the football. We learned that. We also
Yeah.
learned we don't know we just don't know yet because we don't know how good Navy is. The first game of the season, week 0, so it's like, it's just an opener.
Yeah, it is Navy, which we have to understand, but you can never doubt Navy when you play them because they're always an upset team.
Right.
But I mean, Navy just kept running the same plays, really. They have such a small playbook. It's
Yeah, it's
pretty,
just the triple option. It's
yeah,
and they ran it the whole game.
exactly. There was like no passing. And if there
Yeah.
was, it wasn't anything too terribly good. But Notre Dame, I did like Sam Hartman
Yeah.
a lot better than last year's quarterbacks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Notre Dame won 42-3. Not a big surprise, beating the spread by a lot. I think their spread was only like 31 points. So
Yeah.
that's really good for Notre Dame. Good, easy starting game. They're going to have a lot tougher schedule going ahead, but nothing too
Good.
crazy besides two top 10 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but number 6 USC versus San Jose State. USC won 56 to 28. Now, me and Cottle here um, have talked so much about how bad USC's defense is, and I think it kind of shows letting a team like San Jose State put up 28 at
Yeah.
home. That's crazy. I
They
mean,
had they had one good touchdown that I thought was outstanding, San Jose State. But
yeah,
they're one of those schools where you almost have to overlook them, and especially when you have Caleb coming back as a Heisman, and he made some awesome plays.
oh yeah,
But that defense is going to have to get better because you see they're going to have to go against Notre Dame later in the season.
yeah.
Uh, we'll
I
see.
mean,
It's game
that was
one.
their downfall. That was their
Yeah.
downfall. It was Utah.
Yep.
I mean, Utah is a good offense with Cam Rising, and last year they lost to Utah twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't fix your defense up, I mean, it's a good starting game to get your feet dipped in, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Jitters out.
28 is insane for San Jose State.
Yeah.
So,
That's most
it's gonna be all
Pac
about
12.
Caleb Williams
Yeah. And
again.
Zachariah Branch, freshman.
Yes,
Man, he's quick. Got some wheels on him.
he scares me.
Yeah.
No,
We're up in him.
yeah. Um, you got anything else to talk about those two games? There's nothing really else to talk about, I don't think. There were a couple other games, FBS, but nothing top 25 like we've
Yeah.
seen or are gonna see. So, yeah.
Great
Anyways,
opening week. It was awesome to see Notre Dame in Dublin. That was really cool.
Yeah,
Nice stadium for them. It was awesome. Really
good to
fun
have
game to watch.
college football back too.
Yes, and indeed, and
Love it.
not just talk about it. Oh, we're back fully.
Finally,
So
finally, week one. Jumping
yeah,
into week one, AP Top 25. Same as last week. No ranks have changed, even though Notre Dame and USC have a win. Nothing goes. I mean, nothing really matters until CFP. But we're going to talk about the games these teams are going to be playing this next week.
yeah.
So, number one, Georgia. They're going to be playing UT Martin at 6 p.m. on Saturday. So,
Nice little
there
opener for them.
it is. It's kind of
We
like
get to see,
USC's San Jose State.
yeah, worse. But I think we
Yeah,
get to see Carson Beck. That this is always a upgrade. You get to see there's an upside to these teams playing lower ranked teams.
right.
We get to see Carson Beck. We get to see the new coaching, going on. See how the defense is. Georgia's defense usually comes strong, and we'll see. And it's week one, and that's all that matters right now, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I want to see how they utilize Brock Bowers with a new
Yeah,
quarterback. I think that could be dangerous if they could find a spot for him. But if they play tight man against a new QB, I think that could be very bad for them.
yes, agreed.
Um, there was no spread for this game, so it's pretty obvious. I think Georgia wins by at least 25. That's
Yeah,
just saying opening game, jitters out, everything. I don't think they should be out of number one until they lose, but I think that they are definitely weaker than they were last year.
yes.
Um, anyways, moving on to number two, we have Michigan. They play East Carolina at home, 12 p.m. Saturday, and they actually do have a spread for this game with Michigan by 36. Same as before, opening game, but I
Yeah,
think it's the opposite with what I said about Georgia. Georgia is weaker this year than they were last year, but Michigan is probably stronger because they have JJ and Blake back.
yeah. Man, they have a lot coming back, and
They have a lot coming, more than just them two, but
yeah,
I mean,
offensive line. That's the biggest part for them, protecting JJ.
mhm.
They need him all year. He didn't start last year, but now he gets a full season by himself, and he has control. He has the keys. So
Right.
it'll be really interesting to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think they easily win by 36. It's not any question. It's East Carolina, to be honest.
It's going to be a
Uh,
Blake Corum show.
oh yeah, pretty much. Um, moving on to number three, we have Ohio State. They play at Indiana this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. And Ohio State is set to win by 30. A little bit stronger of a team. Indiana is not that great, but it's always a weird game
You
against
just never
Indiana.
know. Yeah, you just never
Yeah,
know with them. They could. Last year, I think they had that little bit of a run where they were maybe ranked 17. And it was
yeah,
good football they were playing. And if they want to start off the year right, they're going to have to put up a little bit of an effort against
better
Ohio State.
stats.
Yeah,
Yeah, but hey, this is what happens with these lower ranked teams. They come to play all out. No matter they put everything on the line. There's no trick plays that haven't been called during these games. I
yeah.
mean, I think Ohio State wins by 42, but that's
Let's
with a
see.
new quarterback. Speaking of new quarterback, starting QB is going to be Kyle McCord over Devin Brown. So
Which is
I
nice.
think, yeah, we're going to be using both QBs during the season, I believe.
Yep.
And that could be very, very lethal. A full fresh QB on separate drives.
First set of legs, they have the same
Mhm.
playbook. So,
Tempo will be, hopefully, we'll run a lot of tempo this year.
yeah, it's be a
Yeah.
good game to show it off in.
Oh, yeah. Next at number four, we have Alabama. They're playing at home against MTSU. Uh, at 7:30 p.m. this Saturday, and Alabama is set to win by 39. Not a hard game for Bama. Bama.
No,
Not at all. MTSU. I don't know anything about MTSU. I've
no.
it's a no-name game, all respect to the sport, but when it comes to the top four teams in the country, this is without a doubt a blowout.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
see any changes in the top four.
I want to see how Alabama does without Bryce Young.
Well, here's the thing, Nick Saban, he hasn't done this in a while, and he's holding off naming the starting quarterback, which causes a distraction, which I
Yeah.
could see how it does, but I could also see how players on the team are looking and saying, well, who's going to be our guy?
Yeah.
And I feel like he's going to do the same thing that Ryan Day is going to do. Start somebody, keep him in for a little bit, fresh set of legs come in. It's a good game to do this in. So
Oh yeah.
they'll be able to really see what they have. I think their running game is one of the best running back rooms in the nation. So it
Oh
should
yeah.
be,
They have a really good running back room.
yes.
Along with, I believe personally, Ohio State, who has several big running backs. No big name running backs who were up for Heisman, but pretty consistent running backs.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Exactly. Um, but the thing was staying concealed about the starting quarterback and wanting to put in that fresh legs is you got to keep that not just for the first game, but you got to keep that hidden for as long as you can
Yeah, until the
until you need it.
players, yeah, until the players show who should be there. And
Right.
you should be able to watch this game, maybe not even after week one, because it's not a big name team. But when you start getting later and you start playing, early SEC conference games, you're gonna start to realize, okay, Saban trusts him more, or Ryan Day is trusting him more.
Right.
So it's like spring training right now.
Pretty
It's
much, yeah, but at the
yeah,
beginning of the season.
yep,
Oh my goodness. All right. Anyways, moving on to number five. We have LSU. They play Florida State. Um, number eight, Florida State, by the way,
yeah.
at 7:30 p.m. this Sunday. LSU is said to win by 2.5. This is the biggest game of the week. I'm surprised it isn't college game day. It is Sunday, so
Yeah,
can't really do much about it. But I mean, this is a top 10 matchup. It's gonna pretty much change the course of the year for one of the other teams. I mean, not really for LSU because LSU can go to SEC championship with two losses and win and be in the top four.
yeah.
So
Like they did
depending
last
on those
year.
losses, yeah. But I mean, I think I think LSU can win it if they play like they did against Bama last year.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
think if Florida State is as good as everybody says they are right now, I have Florida State winning by 10, not just
I have the
losing by 2.5.
same spread because last year we saw it in Florida State in Tallahassee. It was a very, very good game. If you didn't watch that game, you need to go back and watch it because it's going to be the same teams going at it. It's
Exactly.
awesome. You got Jordan Travis coming in.
Revenge
Yeah,
too. Wasn't it a field goal to win it?
yeah,
It's like just to run out of time. Absolutely beautiful. But yeah, that game's I think the biggest game of the week so far. Besides a couple other games that are going to be notable, but that's going to be the biggest thing we watch this weekend.
yeah.
Anyways, moving on to number six, we have USC. Just talked about them a little bit ago, playing San Jose State. They play Nevada at home, so they're at home back-to-back weeks.
Good.
Uh,
It's
they
really good for
play.
them.
Oh yeah, that's a super good opener. Two back-to-back home games. They play at 6:30 p.m. this Saturday, and USC is set to win by 38.
I want to see their defense. I know what their offense has. The whole nation knows who Caleb Williams is. He's He's a magician. I mean, there's some things he does that not people in the NFL can do. So
Hmm.
we know they have that. But I want to see their defensive line more importantly, and their secondary. That was just
Their
very
secondary
awful.
gets burnt.
Yeah, it's like every play, and they're very talented. So
Yeah, I just think it's put into the wrong category of skill.
yeah,
Like they have certain talents that are really useful on the field, but they aren't used correctly.
yeah,
So I think it's going to be a matching game for trying to find out who fits where for USC. Um, Nevada, I mean, if Nevada puts up 28 as well, that looks bad for their power rankings in general because their defense is going to be like the worst ranked in the nation if it's letting teams like that score so many points.
yeah. Already, that's like if we would have the same conversation if Navy would have put up 20.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but they did not.
I
So I
mean,
mean,
it's like the same caliber team, but Navy is more known for sure.
yeah, Southern Cal kind of reminds me of the older Bob Stoops Oklahoma team, which
Oh.
they had really good offense that would
Hmm.
win them a lot of football games, big football games, but their defense was just
It's
miserable.
just practically a shootout.
Yeah, and
Get lucky a couple drives.
you can't win a lot of football games like that. And they didn't win
Mm-mm.
the first round of the playoffs. So Southern Cal, they need to just get their defense together. Come on,
Yeah.
we want to
I
see
think
it.
that's the biggest thing for them right now. If their defense was like even in the top 10, they would be
Yeah,
number one and they would be going to the top four every single year
yeah,
until Caleb Williams is gone. But I mean, after last year, and he's a step up, and so far there's not a lot of improvement. But anyways, moving on to number seven, we have Penn State. They play West Virginia this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and Penn State is set to win by 20.5.
I've got an upset alert for you.
Upset
I,
alert.
I
Okay.
think I think West Virginia is gonna take this game. I really do think Penn State they start off the year either strong or not at all, and it's very different from every other team because they can
Yeah.
start off strong or they can start off weak and end strong. Penn State they have to start strong every year. They have to at least before they play Michigan or Ohio State.
Yeah.
And West Virginia, man, we don't know much about them, but we know this is going to be kind of a rival game and just far apart teams. So it's going to be really interesting. I love it when these two matches collide. It's awesome.
I think it is going to be interesting. I think the same thing I said last week about them playing Ohio State with having to be a fourth quarter team.
Yeah.
This is a smaller team than them, and I believe that they won't have to outlast them till the fourth quarter. I think Penn State will win by the spread, maybe seven difference. But if they played like they did against Ohio State last year in the first three quarters, I feel like they'll do fine throughout the season. Now, I don't care if Penn State loses. I don't care if they win because personally for me, Ohio State is most likely going to beat them, have
Yeah.
for the past 6 years. Um, but I would favor Penn State because of the Big Ten team. And if we do happen to lose to them, that would look very bad for us. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick Penn State just by favoring. So
Okay.
yeah. Um, then just talked about it. Number eight, Florida State versus number five, LSU, 7:30 p.m. Sunday. LSU by 2.5. Then we've got number nine, Clemson. They play at Duke at 8 p.m. this Monday, and Clemson is set to win by 13. Why such a low spread, you think?
Because it's at Duke. and we haven't played there in a long time since Taj Boyd and Sammy Watkins era.
Okay.
And it's the last time Duke is one of those teams where yes, they are a basketball school. So is a lot of ACC teams, but like North Carolina. But I think it's opener. There's a lot of pressure on Cade Klubnik's shoulders, and I think he's going to handle it very well. He's got a he's got a lot of weapons. DJ was the quarterback for Clemson last year, and he didn't have that much weapons.
No.
Now you got some receivers out there, and the defense it might even be better than it's been in years, and that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot to say,
I
but
also think
yeah,
it helped with being a backup and being his first career snaps, being
yeah,
in very tight games that they needed him.
yeah,
Even if it didn't turn out, those are good starting snaps to kind of get the jitters out. So you
yeah,
know what big hype games are and smaller games are, and how that determines how much you need to be like mentally prepared. So
yeah,
yeah, I think Clemson wins by 21. I mean, it's Duke.
yeah. I think it's
Nothing too great.
going to be a nighttime game. Clemson thrives on nighttime games, and it's going to be a show. You're going to see a whole new offense with Garrett
Last
Riley.
game of the weekend, man.
Yeah, I love it. Monday night, prime time. Let's go.
Pushes back the rankings or the release date for the rankings though, sadly.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Nobody's hurting anybody.
yeah, it's just AP. I mean, there's
Yeah,
no real upsets, like crazy upsets in the top 10. Um, moving on to number 10, we have Washington playing Boise State this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Washington set to win by 14.5. Um,
yeah.
Washington made their name for themselves last season. I think they'll do pretty good this season, but I mean, I think Boise State is a clear shot win. Might be a tight game, but I think they do pretty well, if not better than they did last year. Maybe a little bit
Is
short.
that is that at Boise?
No, that's at home. I believe
Okay.
it's either at home or one of the classic games. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Washington, they have a really fast offense, and we saw it last year,
Hmm.
with MP back there. That dude's good. Okay,
That dude's
let's
really
not
good.
sleep on that guy. He is.
No, he's
He's
got
good.
really
He'll have
good.
a great season.
He gets a lots of yards every
Yes,
season.
it's gonna be all awesome.
Oh yeah. Washington wins by a spread tie game, like I said.
Yeah.
Um, moving on to number 11, got Texas. They play Rice this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. There's no spread. It's pretty much gonna I think they win by 35. I think Quinn Ewers scores at least 4 touchdowns, either passing or running in.
He is one of my
Uh,
Heisman sleepers this year.
okay.
He's got a fresh cut too. He got rid of the mullet hair.
Thank the
So
Lord. That's
yeah, so
good.
you know he's gonna be
That's good.
locked in.
How much do you think Texas will win by? What do you think there'll be an upset?
No, because I think Texas won't lose until they play Bama.
Okay.
But I think they'll probably win by I'm gonna say 28.
28? That's
Yeah,
good.
it's.
That's
I
good.
mean, it's gonna be at home. It's gonna be Quinn Ewers just tossing the ball around,
Yeah.
and we won't learn much from Texas after this first week. I want to see their defense. Their defense played good in some spots last year, but this year they've got to play it the whole 4 quarters.
Right.
And
Nothing was notable about Texas's
yeah,
defense last year.
yeah,
Um, Now it was notable whenever they were throwing the game late in the game, but I mean, you can't do much with the hurt quarterback against Bama and
yeah.
only having
That's
to rely on your defense. So no wonder they were getting gassed. They were playing three and out drives and just choking up.
yeah,
But let's move on to number 12. We got Tennessee. They play at home against Virginia this Saturday at 12 p.m. Tennessee set to win by 28. I do not hate Tennessee. I
Okay.
like Tennessee. I like Tennessee. I've been to some Tennessee games. A lot of my family has lived in Tennessee. I've grown up, besides Ohio State, of course, singing Rocky Top. So, I know Cottle doesn't like it, but uh, I've got Tennessee slipping in the top 10 after this next couple of weeks, after maybe some upsets, hopefully. Um, but yeah, Tennessee versus Virginia. This isn't a bad game for them. Good opener. They win by the spread. They win by the spread.
A really good opportunity for Virginia. They had a tough year last year. They had
Oh
some
yeah.
things off the field that were tough, and that's there's not really much to expect from Virginia, but don't it's a good ACC SEC matchup.
Yeah.
First good
Now,
opener.
I would say this is the make it or break it week for Tennessee after losing Hendon Hooker and
Yeah,
Jalen Hyatt. Um, I mean, that was mainly their offense last year.
yeah,
They've still got some good players on offense, but I mean, not a great defense. Not a great defense at all. Um, anyways, let's move on to number 13, Notre Dame. Just played last week. They're already 1-0. They play Tennessee State this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. And there's no spread. It's Tennessee State.
yeah.
I have,
I want to see Sam Hartman. I want to see some more him running the ball. Then,
yeah,
and if you could just hand it off to your running backs, then so be it. You can do that. I want to see
yeah.
Sam use his legs though. He can really, when he gets moving, he can make some space.
Get him in
And
some good options.
yeah, yeah, he did a lot of that slow pace. It's a very different tempo at Notre Dame, but he's so far. I mean, after week one, we've seen he can adapt to it. So
Right.
that'd be good. Be good to see what else he can do, and not just that,
Yeah.
their defense.
Yeah, I want to see the consistency in their defense a lot
Yeah,
more. They've got a good defense. They've always had a pretty consistent defense, I think.
yeah,
Um, nothing, I mean, they've held teams to good scores, but again, they haven't put up big score games. But I believe Sam Hartman will help with that. Anyways, moving on to the next team, we got number 14 Utah that is playing Florida at 8 p.m. this Thursday. Utah is set to win by 6.5.
no Cam
Florida,
Rising, no
no
Cam
Cam
Rising, by the
Rising.
way. So that's going to be a little different game because Florida, you don't really know much about every year coming in. They could end the year pretty well, but it's just man, they got a tough schedule this year. They need to win this game. I
Yeah.
don't know if
For
they will, but Utah they need to win the game for Cam because when
yeah.
he comes back, it's over. They got to get him out there.
Yeah. If Florida either goes 6-6 or 8-4 every year, not the star of the SEC, but definitely going to be a good game for Utah without Cam Rising.
Yeah,
I think the 6.5 is fair. I think that's pretty fair on the spread. And at number 15, we have Oregon. They play at home against Portland State this Saturday at 3 p.m. Not a bad game for Oregon. Good start. In state too.
yeah. I mean, you just you see that a lot. It's like a tradition for week one. You play your weaker teams just to get loose, get warm. I think Bo
Yeah.
Nix is gonna have a great season. They need a defense too. It's a lot of Pac-12. Pac-12 has offense but no defense most of the time. So we'll see.
Right.
Right. I think Oregon's gonna have a strong year. I don't think they'll go to the playoffs or anything, but
Maybe they can upset a good amount of teams.
yeah,
Next at number 16, we have Kansas State. They play Southeastern Missouri at 7 p.m. This Saturday. Um, I mean, that's a good opener game. Like you just said, usually weaker teams.
Yep.
Kansas State played really good last season. They beat TCU. I mean,
Played really good against Bama,
yeah,
but they don't have Deuce Vaughn anymore.
that's true, but he's a very small portion of
Yeah,
their team.
agreed.
Um, I think Kansas State could do good, maybe a couple upsets, like maybe Oregon. Uh, I think the spot they're in might be the highest or the lowest they could be this season. Either they're really going to be good or really bad. There's no in between.
Yeah.
Um, Next, the team Kansas State beat number 17 TCU. They play Colorado this Saturday at 12 p.m. TCU set to win by 20.5. We get to see Prime in his first coaching game.
As much as it's weird for me to say this, I actually think Colorado's going to win this game.
Okay. What do
Yeah.
you say that? Because of all the hype?
You see, you just don't know, but I think Dion, we give him a lot of credit because yeah, he's all bling bling. He's out there. He puts himself out there, which
Yeah.
a lot of coaches do. He has to prove himself. I think it's all or nothing for them. They have
Right.
Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. You know, he's playing against defenses that already know what he's going to be doing. So, and Travis Hunter, he's a great two-way player. Maybe look for him somewhere along the line of his career, being a Heisman contender at some point. He's very athletic. You know, he doesn't drop anything. He's got sticky hands. So
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
they're TCU is going to be. It's a great game for both teams. Colorado, they win that game, they're going to be in the top 25.
right.
TCU, they win, they're not so bad without Max Duggan.
Right. Uh, like you said, without Max Duggan, he was the heart of the team. He really put in a lot throughout his time there at TCU. I mean, he beat Michigan, and then they had the worst showing in college football championship history against Georgia,
Yeah,
which was completely awful. But I think if Colorado wins even only 5 games this season, that's a huge improvement from 0-12 last season.
yeah,
Like that is huge. That is absolutely massive. And I think even if they had like a losing season like 5-7, that is still really good. Or they could go 6-6 and possibly get a bowl game.
yeah.
That would be nice for them.
That would be awesome for them.
That would be
They're like
great for Colorado.
the Duke of Pac-12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they haven't really had a good season that I can remember. I've had great players come out of there, of course, but I think it's a little different vibe. And TCU, they don't have Garrett Riley anymore, so
Right.
they've got a new off.
They
They've
don't
got a
have a lot.
yeah.
They're
So
pretty
we'll
new
see.
all around the board.
Perfect game for Deion Sanders to make his appearance at. I'd say
Oh yeah.
that.
Game one.
Yep.
Week one. Love it. Next we have 18 Oregon State. They play at San Jose State at 3:30 p.m. this Sunday, and Oregon State is set to win by 16.5. San Jose State playing two ranked teams back to back. I mean, at least give them the strength of schedule.
I mean they've got a tougher schedule than Georgia. So
Right.
even in the first 2 weeks, but I think Oregon State has a little bit better defense. They did last year at least. I don't know what all they're bringing back, but I do know they have a guy he goes by the name of DJ Uyunglele, Big Cinco. Um, he played for Clemson. He's very talented. He got drafted by the Dodgers,
Right.
so his arms got to be something. I think he'll be able to play freely. He's going against tougher defense and from the ACC. So we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
how it goes. I
I
hope it
think he could
really
do
goes.
good.
Yeah,
Hopefully he improved over last season from then to now with I don't know if
Yeah.
he put too much focus into baseball or
He
I
didn't
want to
even
see
play.
improvement of a football side.
He hasn't even played baseball since high school.
I
That does
know.
happen a lot. That does happen a lot. They get
Yeah,
drafted. I mean, even players that draft, they don't even sign half the time. But
right.
DJ, I think he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. And as a fan of him, he lost really big games for us, but at the same time, he used to be a Tiger, and I want to see him rise to the occasion, like Chase Bryce or Tyson Fomachon. He played
Yeah,
last week, New Mexico State. He played really good, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited for
yeah.
DJ.
I think Oregon State wins by at least 21. At
Yeah,
least, hopefully, if they're a top 25 team, they should
I
win by 21.
feel so bad for him because they don't know what DJ they're getting either. So
Right. It could be a
give
bummed
it to
out one
yeah.
or
He looks good though. I watched his practice film the other day, and he's doing good. But he also practiced very
good.
well. So
So we'll have to see. Wait till game time. Uh, Next we have number 19, Wisconsin. They play Buffalo at 3:30 p.m. this Saturday. Wisconsin to win by 28. Buffalo is
yeah,
Buffalo. I mean, same as any other game this week. Usually, week one, the stronger teams play weaker teams. This being
yeah.
a ranked Wisconsin is kind of weird
It
because
because I
it's
really do.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin. They're not going to be that team that starts off late and then kind of gathers itself. I think they're going to be at least 15 by the end of this year.
Okay.
Like, because they're in a tough schedule. Tough defense. It's gonna be cold games. They're used to that, obviously, but it's I think they can make their conference. I
That
don't
would
think
be good.
Ohio State will win that conference, but
Yeah.
you know,
Another Ohio State Wisconsin conference game would be immaculate for me.
and it would be huge for Ohio State to get another win like that under their belt.
Oh yeah,
Even
at least
for
go to the
playoff.
Big Ten this year.
Yeah, yeah, that's step one.
I
Beat
missed
Michigan.
it. Yeah. We got three goals. Beat that team up north, win the Big Ten, win the Natty. So we haven't completed step one for 2 years straight. So it's tough.
Say nothing. We lost to Mr. Spencer Rattler, so
Yeah. Yeah. Good Lord. Oldest Stetson.
yeah, has a
Um,
documentary about him.
yeah. Next we have number 20, Oklahoma. They play Arkansas State this Saturday at 12, and they're set to win by 36. I don't know
I
where
don't
this came from. 6-6 Oklahoma from last year, going to number 20, and then getting a spread like 36 against a weaker team. We saw them play
Well,
weaker teams.
they do have. I know they have Dylan Gabriel coming back.
Yeah,
He played at UCF, played really good there. Great, all around quarterback. But everything you want to see in a quarterback, he has the credentials to do it. But their defense, even Brent Venables being a coordinator first before a coach, he is
yeah.
one of the best defensive coordinators. And yeah, I'm biased because he coached at Clemson and won two natties. But
Had to
we
put
didn't
that in
see
there.
any of that last year. We didn't see
Right.
any. We saw him kind
None
of,
of that.
yeah, we saw him kind of build his little program on like Dabo did. Because that's all he really knew. So
Right.
I think this year will be a little bit more of just him figuring himself out and him figuring out this team and what he really wants to do with this team. I mean, he can. I think the ceiling for them is get back to a New Year's Eve game. So
Yeah, there's some good bowl game would be
yeah,
amazing for them. I don't see them in the top 10
no,
unless they have bias somehow. But it's not the Oklahoma we used to know, like
yeah,
the big ranked Oklahoma with Baker.
or with Jalen
But
Hurts or Kyler Murray.
yeah. Oh my goodness, dude. just having that talent on that team. I feel like the talent hasn't been lost, but the drive to do everything has.
Yeah, I feel like they're them and Texas switched spots for a
Yeah,
little bit.
for a
You know,
little
we
bit.
haven't seen much of Texas, but so far
It's the
they've got the
SEC,
vibe.
man. It's the
Yeah,
SEC.
I'm gonna laugh when they both lose to Vanderbilt. So
Yeah, Vandy of all teams. Um, then at number 21, we have North Carolina at South Carolina. Or no, not out South Carolina.
in
It's
Charlotte,
gonna be, yeah, Charlotte. In some, anyways,
yeah,
um, they play at 7:30 p.m. this Saturday, and UNC set to win by 2.5. Duke's Mayo Classic. I mean, this is college game day.
yeah. I think what is your prediction for this game?
I have UNC winning by a slim margin if they can complete what they need to.
Yeah,
But if Spencer comes out game one and thrives like he did against Tennessee, I've got it's either North Carolina winning by a little or South Carolina winning by at least 14.
yeah. I've got. Be ready for this one. Okay, so Clemson
Okay.
played both of them, so I've kind of
Right.
watched their film. You know, watched some of their games they played last year and everything. Drake
Hmm.
May is really good. He, you know, he had a very good season last year. Their defense was awful, one of the worst defenses, not just the ACC but in college football. And I think they got a lot of guys coming back, which is really good for them because they were young on defense last year. And Spencer Rattler, he's getting smarter. I hate to say it, and I hate Carolina. I hate South Carolina. So it's just I don't know. I think Drake May is going to go out there and just ball out and show that he's a Heisman contender.
Right.
And either way, if Carolina wins, they'll be ranked.
Yeah,
And
just like the end of
yeah,
last season
yeah,
where they
and if
snuck in.
yeah, and if North Carolina wins, they'll stay ranked and maybe jump up higher. So I think
Right.
South Carolina should be ranked. I think they should after the way I know they lost to Notre Dame last year, but in their bowl game,
They
but
played a they played a lot of good games.
yeah, they had a tough schedule. They got another tough schedule this year, but you know it's
Gotta
difficult when
win.
you play Georgia and Clemson every year.
Yeah. And then now you gotta rank North Carolina with a Drake May.
Yeah, and a
So
fast offense. I'm ready to
if
see
yeah,
it.
yeah. If Spencer Rattler can play good against a slightly worse defense that North Carolina has,
Yeah,
I'm I I think South Carolina could win, but if not, Drake May should be able to throw all over them.
yeah, I
I think
agree. I
so.
think he will. I think either way, it's going to rely on UNC's defense the whole game. South
Yep.
Carolina got they have really good talent on defense, and but we just don't know. South Carolina, they had a really it could have been a fluke year last year.
Right.
Shane Beamer, to me, I'm not going to get into that because I'm a Clemson
Hmm.
fan. But
We got a lot of Carolina fans.
yeah, yeah, I'll keep it respectful.
Yeah, it's good too.
Give me a good game.
Good game for sure. Next, we have number 22, Ole Miss. They play Mercer this Saturday at 2 p.m. No spread. It's Mercer. I had a old high school football teammate who went to Mercer, and they are not good at all.
No, I had a. If he's the same teammate that you're talking about, I had classes with him.
Yeah,
He was
I mean,
talking about he went to Mercer all the time.
yeah.
So that's cool.
I mean, respect to Mercer, but it all comes down to like AP rankings at this point. I mean, Ole Miss, there's no spread on here. It's pretty simple. I think Ole Miss wins by 25.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, I think he comes out strong.
Yeah.
Their defense gonna have to step up from last year. We hear that saying a lot, don't we?
Yeah, a lot.
So,
It's almost like it's turned into only offense, just like the NBA's turned into threes.
yeah, and the
It's
NFL has turned into a couple of cornerbacks and running quarterbacks.
Right.
So
Crazy, right?
it is. Times have changed for the best, maybe.
Yeah. Ole Miss wins, no problem.
Yeah.
Then at number 23, we have Texas A&M. They play New Mexico State this Saturday at 7 p.m. Texas A&M by 38. Now, this is the only other time I see such big spreads is top 10 Alabama and Michigan and USC. But I mean, Texas A&M isn't that insanely great. So,
Especially from last year. I mean, they were such a letdown with the number one recruiting class coming in that
yeah.
year. I mean, give me a break.
Didn't
And
they
I
finish
just
unranked?
Jimbo, yeah, yeah, they did. Jimbo is not a very good coach. I'm just gonna say that point blank. He had a lot of help. He got left with luggage at Florida State. That's why he
Oh,
has
yeah.
an. So I mean, I hope that Texas A&M is good because I don't know if you have, but I watched that Johnny football documentary.
Right. I
Johnny,
haven't watched it yet.
man, it is good. You got to go watch it. But it's the only way I'd ever watch Texas A&M if he was there.
Yeah.
And it's a hit or miss with them. They're kind of the middle feeders in the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean,
One's still looking for a higher rank.
yeah, they could beat Bama and then lose four other games to nobody we know. So it's like
Right.
that loss to App State. App State was very mediocre. They kept them in the conversation for top 25 for sure.
Right.
And it was really fun talking about them. But also, we don't like to see Texas A&M struggle. It's, it's a
We don't
standard.
like seeing them struggle in an upset game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, then we have number 24, Tulane. They play South Alabama this Saturday at 8 p.m. Tulane to win by 6.5. I think, Tulane is a shocker in the top 25. So I
It
think
is.
if they could
First
win
time
their
ever
first game,
starting this. Yeah.
right, this is their highest they've ever been.
Yeah.
So I think Tulane, if they can win the first game, they stay in the top 25, solidify that. So I'm proud of Tulane.
Yes.
I think they beat South Alabama by the
Green
spread.
wave. Green wave, baby. Let's go.
Green Wave. Then last but not least, we have number 25, Iowa. They play Utah State this Saturday at 12 p.m. And Iowa is set to win by 25.
That is going to be a closer game than I think we realize.
Yeah, it's
Utah
gonna be a
State,
defensive game.
yes. And Iowa, they have a great offensive line. The quarterback, they usually just put anybody back there.
Right.
And I don't know much about Iowa. I mean, you probably do because that's kind of close
They
to
have a
y'all.
lot better defense than everybody thinks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. And Utah State, it's Utah State, but they played really good last year. So
Yeah.
they were in a lot of big games, late night games. But
Hmm.
I'm excited. It's week one. We don't know what's going to happen.
No.
That's
Um,
the idea of it.
look, we have all the looking in teams talked about it last week. It's not hard to find, but we have a lot of teams that are looking in. I mean, just with a couple votes
Couple.
from the first week of the AP Top 25, you could pretty much guess almost any team that's in looking in. But do we have any big news? Any big news?
I think the biggest news is that Cam Rising is not back yet,
Yes, that's going to
and
be the biggest news.
because honestly, he was one of my favorite players. We talked about this last podcast, but he was one of my favorite players to watch. He was exciting. He played with full heart. Maybe not as athletic as all these other quarterbacks.
Right.
He was beating those other quarterbacks. So I think if he needs to come back week 3 or week 4 to be solidified in a Heisman race because he had a year last year that could put him in that. But injuries, man, they suck. That's the worst thing about sports is that. So hope he
Right.
gets better.
I mean, his effort put into the game. I mean, I compare him to more of like Max Duggan, but he puts a lot of effort and can actually very well exceed in higher games. Even though if they don't win, he's got some really great stats. So,
His jersey is never clean,
nope, never.
and yeah,
It's
I'm not gonna
insane.
be seeing him on the sideline. I want him in the game,
Oh
but
yeah, I want to watch him almost every single game.
yes,
Great quarterback.
awesome.
Um, anyways, we're filming this now. Uh, if you want to watch us on YouTube, uh, you can find us at College FB Weekly, and on Instagram you can find us at College FBW. New thing about I don't know if I told you yet, but you can watch the videos on Spotify
Yeah,
of us. So that's actually pretty cool. I like
that's
that a
awesome.
lot. So if you don't want to go to YouTube, or if it's more convenient for you to watch on Spotify, just watch here or just listen. It's really anything. Make sure you tell everybody you know about our podcast.
Yeah, it would be greatly appreciated.
It
We've
would.
got
Uh,
big news for the next podcast,
big
so
news next week.
buckle up.
We're gonna be looking at some stuff and figuring some stuff out. So it's gonna be a
Yeah,
big week for us. Gonna be
we
taking notes on the games too.
yes.
So get ready for next week. Probably a longer episode. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week. See
Peace.
ya.
Go Tigers.